If you've ever eaten at a restaurant, had your hair done, or taken a cab,
Taxi!
you've probably left a tip. But did you know that millions of workers in America rely on tips just to make a living? Now, former President Donald Trump says he wants to stop taxing tips. Sounds good, right? More money for workers? Maybe. But let's break it down. First, let's talk about how tipped workers get paid. In most jobs, your boss has to pay you at least $7.25 per hour, which is the federal minimum wage. But for workers who get tips, like servers and bartenders, businesses can pay them as little as $2.13 per hour. Why? Because the law assumes their tips will make up the rest. If they don't, the boss has to cover the difference. But here's the problem. Not all businesses follow this rule, and workers often end up with less than they should. The rules aren't the same everywhere. 7 states, including California and Washington, require full minimum wage before tips. 15 states follow the federal rule, meaning workers can be paid just $2.13 per hour before tips, while the rest have their own numbers somewhere in between. So whether you're a waiter in California or Texas could make a huge difference in your paycheck. Now let's talk about Trump's proposal. At a rally in Las Vegas, Trump said that,
"So if you're a restaurant worker, a server, a valet, a bellhop, a bartender, or one of my caddies, or any other worker who relies on tipped income, your tips will be 100% yours."
if that happens, workers would keep more of their money instead of giving part of it to the IRS. But not everyone thinks that it's that simple. If the government stops taxing tips, that means workers get more take-home pay. But here's the catch. The US government collects billions in taxes from tips. If tips aren't taxed, the government could lose about $106 billion over 10 years. There's also a new law being discussed that would get rid of the $2.13 minimum wage for tipped workers. That means workers would always get at least $7.25 per hour before tips, or more depending on the state. Some say this would create fair wages for tipped workers. Others argue that restaurants might raise menu prices or cut staff to cover the costs. Right now, both ideas are just proposals. No laws have changed yet. But they could affect millions of workers, and there's a big debate about what's fair. What do you think? Should tips stay tax-free? Should all workers get full minimum wage before tips? Let us know in the comments. For more such explainers, stay tuned to Dawn News English.